Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Today, it's the man child. So we got in some new Spawn. Got in a new Manga Spawn from Mcfarlane Toys. Now this came from Target.com. I think it was a Target exclusive. I remember pre-ordering it then. You go on online. It's other stores have it, of course, but that's where it came from anyway. I think it looks pretty cool. I did take some photos and post pics in YouTube kind of to show it off early. And yeah, I got a mix of comments. Some people really liked it and thought it was cool, and other people said it was garbage. So I don't know if you guys already got it or you just don't like what it looks like. It's kind of going back old school, or paying homage back to the original Manga Spawn, which I do have some. And I'll bring them and compare them. But he's a lot bigger. He's got the typical, bright colors that was known for the McFarlane Toys in the day, or them type of figures. Comes with some cool weapons. Look at these, like energy-based weapons. Looks like a cloth cape. I mean, energy shield in the back. A lot bigger. I don't know, what more you want? It looks cool to me. Here's a quick look at the back of the box. Got some pretty cool art, right? Spawn, Manga Spawn. And yeah, 22 moving parts, or 22 points of articulation. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. It's a lot more than the older ones had. And there's also some cool art on the side, too. A little bigger image of that Spawn. I think the other side, yeah, is just a clear bubble. Here's a quick 360 look at our new Manga Spawn out of box. So out of the box, I mean, I personally think he's pretty cool. It's going back to that old school Manga Spawn look, but got some new sculpts, obviously bigger, redesigned a little bit, but it's not trying to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. And bring the tape in all the way to the top of the mask, which does not remove. Its whole part of the sculpt is 9 inches, so that's pretty good height. So let's take a closer look at him as far as the head, right near articulation, and go back. Go all the way down like so, spin left to right, you can rotate it all around. Yeah, pretty cool mask, right? Got like spawn to spawn, painted glowing eyes going in there. Again, the mask don't remove. Could probably pop the head off. I see a little ball peg in there. Pretty neat. It's got these fins in the back. There's nothing else painted. And these are, you got these two separate points, and they're pretty flexible. Moving on to our arms and shoulders, right? We'll start with the right side first because the shoulder armor is a little different. But yeah, you got this cool piece of armor on the shoulder. It's real soft. Spikes are pretty hard. It can rotate and articulate around. It's on a ball joint in there. And that pops right off. And that's how you remove this K piece. We'll get into that in a little bit. So let's keep that off for a second. So the arm go all the way out, down, forward, back. You can bend at the elbow all the way in and back like so. It feels like it's on a ratchet joint. Got some cool points here. You got, this cool forearm guard. Something like Spawn would wear, a regular Spawn. Again, the spikes are really hard. This doesn't come off, I can see. No, it looks like it's all part of sculpt. Got this cool sword too, but on the package on mine, it looked like an energy-based weapon. It's just, yeah, steel sword. Now I know there was two variants to this too. There was a signature version and a designer. This is the designer one, so it was a cheaper one. The signature version was a lot more money. I think it came with Todd's signature. Maybe that had the energy-based weapon. I don't know. This is what I got. It is what it is. And the sword can also remove. It pops right out. Check that out. And moving on to our hand, it's on like a split ball joint there. Okay, can go in and out, can spin. And the fingers, and this one's a pre-posed finger, like a trigger finger. And they're really hard on these. Like, you gotta, wow. He didn't work them out, but it's kind of the hands you get. And there's nothing painted up here. See, it would have been cool if these were silver, which I can do with a silver marker later, but it's all painted in blue. So moving on to the left side, check out that cool that skull. That's awesome. Shoulder armor there. Now it does articulate, moves all around. Pretty neat. And the articulation, so now we'll leave this on just to see what the articulation does with this. We know it comes off, but you're not going to go up far. Well, actually, yeah, look at that. You can pop all the way up. Okay. So same thing, back, down, forward, the whole deal. You can bend at the elbow like so. And this too has a different forearm guard, which the energy shield goes on this. We'll check that out a little bit. And yeah, nothing else moves. Well, the arm does spin too. Okay, so you can do that. And the hand, this hand's kind of a semi-open hand, doesn't have the trigger finger, and same thing, spins, goes in and out, and this one's, same thing, really hard in these. And then with the shoulder armor, same thing, should be on a ball. Let's see if this pops. Yep, pops right. Okay, it's a double peg, so you can either pop the peg out of this or out of the shoulder if you don't want the peg hanging out. And so let's focus on the cape for a second. So taking a quick look at the back, here's our cloth cape. Now, there's no wire, it would have been cool, figure with a deluxe, but, it is what it is. Yeah, so you can pop this off in the shoulder armor, this one too, like I had before. Okay, and that's how you would take the whole cape off. So take a better look at him without the cape. And leaving the cape off for a second, if you're curious, the shoulder pads, armor can be reversed. Oh, this one popped out, but you can reverse them left and rights too, and the articulation all works all the same. This is just a close look at the cape. Yep, it's a split piece, 2 holes. Pretty cool material. So moving on to our chest, got some cool skulls sculpted, painted back in there. If you can see that, you got to see it a steel spawn emblem kind of thing across the chest, and the middle's painted. You got some circuitry painted here, so you got a little extra, paint apps for what it is. Articulation looking go all the way back and forth, down and back like so. He's got. Let me see. It's the front and there's the back there. Yeah, there's nothing else. Just that's the only point of articulation in the waist. So moving on to our legs and waist, we got a skull sculpted and painted in there. I guess similar to how Spawn would have it on his waist with the chains. Legs go all the way out. All right, this one I'll say back. Okay, forward, and that one go that way. So pretty good articulation for the movement of the legs that way. You can spin. All right, the knees can go all the way. Wow, back about that far. Okay, check that out. It's a cool hinge joint in there. On this left side, we got this cool knee guard there, pretty soft with skull painted, and it's all part of sculpt. It looks like I don't know if it's glued in. Got some cool pistons sculpted in the back here, some spikes, so a little extra paint there in the foot. Foot too has good articulation. Go back and forth. Go about that far. It has this weird guard here. Looks like it can come off. It's glued in. Not gonna mess with it. And you go all the way down like so. And I don't see anything in the toe, but for what it is, good articulation. Moving on to the right leg. We already seen all the articulation. Yeah, really, mine's pretty loose, but it is good for what it is, and go all the way back. Now this has the big Spawn boot on this side. That's awesome. Cool spikes. It's real hard plastic. Painted piston in the back there. You check that out, the skull, painted all the way down. And so the leg's going to move that way, but the boot can't spin, and this foot, even with the boot, can go all the way down like that, up, and you can spin back and forth. It's pretty cool. So even with all the new articulation, look at the pose you can put them in. It's all kinds of different battle stances that you couldn't do with the older stuff. That's pretty neat. If you want to put them on a figure stand, you could do front kicks. You could twist them that way and do a side. You need a Kaiser stand to do that, but side kicks and all kinds of neat stuff. I think the articulation is really good in this. And here's a quick layout of all the cool accessories or weapons he comes with. It's always cool to have Spawn come with all these different accessories. The only way to really see that with Mcfarlane stuff is usually in a big deluxe box like you get with this guy. So checking out Manga Spawn's weapons, we get this staff kind of sword energy axe combo. Yeah, it's that gummy. It's heavy, but it's like that gummy plastic, and it's you can see it's warps real easy. Now it has a hole in the middle. You notice that with a couple weapons, they snap onto his back. We'll get to that soon. But the blade looks pretty neat. It's like a small sword, and then of course the axe, like energy base or plasma, kind of like a plasma weapon. And you get this large energy based axe or plasma axe. Same thing. It's a heavy handle, but warps real easy. Also has the hull. Has some circuitry up top. Pretty sharp, but that's a pretty neat weapon. Then we get the dual pair of energy knives. They're pretty cool, and they had little pins that snap onto the legs, so you get that. And you also get this cool sword. Probably my favorite weapon in the pack. Like laser energy base up top here. It even has some metal inside it. So is the outer ends. Translucent or energy based. And it's soft, but it's not as bad as those staffs. So it's a pretty neat weapon. Then you get this cool energy based shield. That's neat. Has a little hole where it snaps onto the wrist. We'll get to that. Yeah, that's a cool accessory. And of course you get a foot stand. Taking a closer look at his back, you can see all these exposed pins hanging out there. Now, the weapons are designed, if you don't want to have them in hand, you can adapt them all over this Manga Spawn. So first up, we're going to try the energy axe. It looks like you just, we'll put that maybe here. And then next, we'll do this staff spear thing. We'll put this on the lower one like so. Pop that right in. And then we'll snap our sword on. We'll put that like this. Now, I don't think it matters. You can put it left or right, however you want, or sword. Twist it that way, but it's kind of the way I'm setting it up. So it looks cool. You can hold the weapons like that. So taking a close look at the knives, right? We have exposed pins there. And if you see in each side of the leg, there's a hole. So you can push that one in like so. And then on the right side, do the same. And then our energy shield's going to go on his forearm guard on his left side, right? Hole and just plugs right in. Big pin. Should snap right in like so. Here's a quick look around of our Manga Spawn all weaponed up. So mixing some of the weapons up, right? Put the 2 knives in hand. I removed the shield, checked, and the big blade, of course. Check that out. A couple dual knives. Now let's check out our Manga Spawn with the sword and shield in hand. Pretty cool. I set him up with the axe and sword in hand. Check those out. It seems like a single-handed weapon, or you can use it with 2 hands, but I'm just going to set it up like that. And now I have him set up with that staff, sword, axe combo in hand. Yeah, it looks pretty cool because you can use both hands for it. Obviously, it's a staff. But this one's really gummy. But by moving the arms around, you kind of manipulate how you want how straight you want it, you know? So it's best I can get it right now with the articulation. But come what that looks like. And for the last setup, I just put the sword in the other hand. I put the bigger blade on. Of course, we kept the shield on and put all the weapons back. So let's do some comparisons. So this is one of the earlier released Manga Spawns. There was 5 or 6 different color variants out. I have a few of them sitting around. But yeah, you can kind of see the difference, obviously. I mean, this one's, yeah, much bigger. The articulation's way better now. I'm going to bring this one in real close. You're not familiar with them. It was able to bend at the knees, not too far. You know, the legs go back and forth. You bend at the arms, shoulders, the arm go up and down. The hands can spin. The helmet can move around a little bit. This actually came off. Actually, that one stuck, but it had a face underneath. These also had a backpack with these wings. And at first, I thought the wings were supposed to fly this whole Manga Spawn. I guess you could, right? Use your imagination. But really, what happens is it's actually a drone of some sort, a bug drone. See that? The claws come off, and then it has a peg where you can pop a head on it. I think this head, I don't know if it was this head you can pop on, or another head in the deluxe packaging on one of these, but it's kind of what that looks like. Here's another variant. Now, this one came in a fish tank, so it was considered like a deluxe at the time. They call it a plastic fish tank. It was just basically a big package of plastic. Yeah, this one had a different type of arm, like a plasma weapon on the right arm. You can see it, and the blade was typical. Hands, yeah, trigger finger, all the same. It also came with that backpack. Now mine, the wings broke in the back. Obviously, different color. That one was pretty cool. I think the chains were metal on this one. Had little chains there, you can see. I actually have a Manga Spawning card, so you kind of see what the card looked like. And this was the first one out, I believe, this type of color. Reminiscent of the Spawn character, red to black, white highlight up in the chest, right? Yeah, that was back, so it's pretty cool. And here's another quick comparison. So this was this was like the Rebirth or something like that. It was a Spawn series he had where they basically reimagined the characters for a more modern Spawn series. It came out like in the mid-2000s, where the first ones I showed came out in the mid-90s. Articulation was a little better in this now. Total redesign. I mean, look at the detail, right? Claw opens up, I think, and the hands. Didn't have the big blades. It had this little piece of blade. Hands articulate. Head, the whole deal. So it has more points of articulation, better paint and detail. And for one last comparison, we'll bring in our new Commando Spawn against the new Manga Spawn, just for a size comparison. So overall, I'm pretty happy with him. You know, it's cool weapons he comes with. You know, just his larger size, articulation works really well. You know, I could have a little more paint apps on him. The color, it's just like this patriotic blue, red, white, and silver and blue kind of color. Now, I'm almost positive Mcfarlane's going to, now that he has the tooling for this, just like these guys, if this does well, you'll have 3 or 4 different color variations, you know, red, black, silver, you know, something comparable to these. I can see that coming. But, you know, it's cool. Mcfarlane's putting a newer Spawn stuff out, and he's trying to keep it simple and cheap. And Mcfarlane's one of the few toy companies that, you know, the stuff is still affordable compared to Super 7 and NECA, which I collect a lot of. But you see, you know, they come with all these accessories and high deco, and they're getting really costly. Well, this stuff's sold in retail, and for the most part, pretty inexpensive compared to what action figures are going for today. And with that, you're going to get lack of certain things like applications, you know. You'll make it up in the size, articulation, maybe weapons. So, I don't know. That's my opinion on it, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Appreciate you guys watching, and until next time, take care.